Geez, man, that's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I've painted on this for about an hour, a little bit over an hour. And it's just so hard to work this paint in a way that seems very, what's the word for it, where it's kind of like when you look at a Sargent painting and there's brushstrokes that look like they were just haphazardly, like flippantly kind of thrown down, but are gorgeous, you know? And they describe the form just perfectly in their own way, just done. And even the Mark Tennant painting that I'm looking at as an example for this is what, kind of what to follow somewhat of an expressive look. These brushstrokes that he's doing are just absolutely random, but they work with everything. And I feel like every single stroke that I put down is not doing what it should. It looks like a brushstroke that was put in the wrong place. At least that's what I feel. And then it doesn't help that I'm working in values that are so close to, I'm working with very dark values for the most part, where if you have even the tiniest bit of white or grayish white in your black, your darkest color, it will show up differently in places. And it's kind of like a beacon glaring to me. That's the wrong value. It should be better. Ugh, so difficult. I'm not really sure if this works. It looks to me like a painting not completed, right? But I don't want to continue working on it and beat it to death. I feel like I've already beat it to death. So here's the Mark Tennant painting, right? It just works. It's gorgeous. But of course, I think, and we always think that like, oh, he did this painting in one sitting. It was just threw it together and it worked and it was perfect. I mean, like Sargent, that could have been like the 5th try on the same painting. And what he learned from the previous 4, he got right in the 5th, or looked better in the 5th, and he destroyed the first 4 or something like that. I don't know. You would think that describing detail and trying to reproduce the image that you're looking at onto canvas would be a lot harder than this expressive stuff. But I find this so much harder. Maybe because, I've trained in years to reproduce what I'm seeing, so that's a bit easier. But this is good. I mean, I could sit here and complain about it, forever. But the good thing about doing these kind of exercises, even though I'm not making a painting that I'm super happy with, or that anyone would buy, or that will even survive past this table, I could throw it away or put it in the garbage, that kind of thing. Even though it doesn't go, achieve greatness in some way, I mean, maybe it will, I have no idea, right? It's good to do these exercises and challenges and get uncomfortable while we're painting, because it's in a place where we can learn. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this. I always like this. So you have this circle, right, that we are in all the time. Well, most of the time in our lives. And this is our comfort zone. There's a C. Looks like a copyright symbol. So that's our comfort zone, right? And then there's a larger circle on the outside of this circle where we're not as comfortable. But that gets a G for the growth zone. Like that's where we learn and hear. That's where we get uncomfortable, where we make mistakes, where we create paintings that aren't the best, but you know, within there is where we begin to grow. We begin to understand ourselves a bit more, what to do, what not to do, what we like, what we don't like, that kind of thing. So it's always good to, you know, to push outside the comfort zone. And yes, in that zone, there are failures and there are problems, there are issues, but there's always learning, there's always growth as well. So it has, you know, both sides of it. But it would be easier for me to just sit in the comfort zone and repeat what I do every day, or repeat what we do every day, the same thing, because it feels good. Oh, I can, you know, if you're really good at painting flowers or the figure or certain portraits in very specific lighting, you know, these things that we've done for years and that we know, we can totally sit in there for forever, you know, for the rest of our lives and be happy about it. I want a bit more, and maybe you do too. I want to get better at things. I want to explore. I want to find boundaries within myself. I want to understand myself a lot more, a lot better. You know, find the intricacies of who I am on this planet and evolve into other things, you know, and those things others may not like, but it should be good for me, hopefully. I'm going to take my pictures and I'm going to do my cleanup. That's the pictures for the blog. But yeah, is this a good painting? In my opinion, I don't think it's as good as the previous paintings I did, the previous 5. I like the previous 5 paintings a bit more. Is it a useful painting? Oh, heck yes. It's tremendously useful. And I think that's maybe the most important. You know, we're going to have hundreds, hopefully thousands of paintings within us that we can complete throughout our lives. And I hope that every single one of them is useful, that I can learn something from it, that I can grow from it in some way. And I know not every single painting is going to be good, you know, and whatever I call good to be, subjectively good. There could be other people that look at this painting and say it's the best painting I ever did. And they would be right too, right? So that's really subjective. So every painting, I hope it to be useful. Not every painting is going to kind of hit that bar of what I would call, this is a good painting that I'm proud of and want to show and put up on the wall. But honestly, for me, over my years of experience, my short few years of experience, I mean, I'm only 50, right? 49, actually I haven't turned 50 yet. Yay, even younger. Over my short years of experience, I've learned that, you know, I really don't know what the entirety of the public likes. So I've created paintings that I thought no one would ever buy, and people have purchased, and it's like the first to sell. And I've put up paintings that I thought would, you know, just fly off the wall, and they sit there forever, and no one wants to buy them, right? So I'm operating on this idea that I don't know, and that there is a person for every painting I do out there in the world. I mean, there's, what, 8 billion people on the planet? If I showed all of my paintings to everybody on the planet, I wouldn't have any paintings. They would all sell, because they would, you know, someone would see one of those paintings, each one of those paintings, and it would resonate with them in some way, and hopefully they'd buy it. you know, we just have to find the right person. So with that idea, you know, of I don't know what's good and what's bad for everyone out there, I'll still make a panel for this painting and I'll still hang it because I don't know. You know, I could tell people, I don't think this is one of my best. I mean, I don't particularly think it's super great, but I don't think any of my paintings are super great anyways. But if they do, if they look at it and they say, no, I think this is absolutely amazing, it speaks to me in all these different ways, they are right too. And that would be great. Hopefully I find a person for it. So maybe we just kind of let go a bit and we make our artwork and we grow. Hopefully it's useful. Hopefully we like every painting we create in some way. If not, at least it's useful. And then we put it out there regardless, because we really don't know. We really don't know. And the best thing to do, the two most important things that I say that I do, and the general idea for my artwork is I make art and I share art. The specifics within that could vary, you know, widely for everyone, for me per week or year or day or whatever. But as long as I'm making work and as long as I'm sharing that work, I feel like I'm doing everything I can to, you know, make it in this art world in some way. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was useful for you, and maybe you like the painting. It looks really dark on the camera. Let me lighten it up a bit. I think that's a bit closer to real life. Maybe right there. Still very dark. It's like, oh, this is a very depressing painting, Chris. I know. Oh, wow. Well, I learned a lot on this. I learned some boundaries of myself, and it's going to be fun exploring this further. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.